Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be discussing the drama with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. Now, was this actually a drama? We will discuss. So, spoiler alerts ahead if you have not watched this movie yet. If you don't want spoilers, click right off of this video. So, anyways, like I said, the drama stars Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. And so, Zendaya and Robert Pattinson are a couple who are currently engaged. Their wedding weekend is approaching. At the beginning of the movie, they kind of show us how they've met, how they originally met. Robert Pattinson's character walks up to Zendaya while she's in a cafe reading, kind of asks her what she's reading, whatever. She doesn't really hear him because she is deaf in one ear. We'll get back to that later. They kind of show us a course of their relationship and also Robert Pattinson writing out his wedding speech that he wants to say in front of everybody during the wedding reception. He says some really awkward things, and he's also reading this out to his friend who is black, and I'm mentioning this for a reason. And there are certain things, awkward things he wants to say, and his friend is like, yeah, you really shouldn't say that. So throughout this movie, you kind of get the sense that both Zendaya's character and Robert Pattinson's character are awkward people, right? And throughout the whole movie, there is like this sense of what is going to happen. Obviously, we know there is a drama. And so there's all this entire sense of what is going to be happening. What is this drama? And I really want to quickly put in there, like a lot of people are saying, oh, they didn't like, I guess, market the movie like the way that, how the movie actually panned out. A lot of people were not expecting the movie to be what it was. And I just have to say, to me, I thought it was pretty clear the way that the trailer was, that there clearly was something that was being hidden from the audience, and that was the purpose of the movie. I thought that was clear. I don't think I was fooled into anything when I went to see this movie. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that. Now, Zendaya and Robert Pattinson's character, they're at their wedding tasting, for their reception, and they are with their friend, their friends. So Robert Pattinson's friend, who is black, and his wife, who has clearly become Zendaya's friend because she is the maid of honor in Zendaya's wedding. I like to preface this by saying she does also have another friend who they are seen, the three of them are seen speaking together more towards the beginning of the movie about her relationship with Robert Pattinson's character. And so while they were at this tasting, they come up with this thing where it's, oh, they're asking each other, what is the worst thing that you've done in your life? And they're all drunk, they're drinking wine and stuff like that. And, they're going around the room. I forget what the guy who is Robert Pattinson's friend, he first says, I forget what he says, honestly, something about a dog attacking this girl, and he kind of used her for a shield. Sounds terrible. Okay. And then I think Robert Pattinson went next, and he spoke about how he bullied to the point that like a kid had to move away. He was 14, 15 years old at the time. Doesn't make it okay. But honestly, I couldn't really tell if his character was lying about that or not, but I'm going to assume he was telling the truth. And there's a reason for that, right? And then we get to Zendaya's friend. We're going to call her Zendaya's friend. And she speaks about how there was a kid who was mentally disabled or mentally challenged, and she was not really comfortable with this kid, thought the kid was weird, thought he was awkward, but he came over, really wanted to show her something in, I guess, the woods or whatever. I believe this child was younger than her. And they go to this RV that he thought was really cool, but she thought it was weird, it was disgusting, and on a whim, for whatever reason, there's a closet in this RV and she locks him in the closet. And the kid starts screaming. And because she doesn't know what to do, she runs away. She doesn't know what to do, so she runs away. You could have opened the closet, maybe. This is a mentally challenged child. So, anyways, she goes back home. His father comes by, asks her, "Do you know where he's been?" She lies and says no. There's a whole search party for him. And one thing I'd like to point out, like, they ask her, "So whatever happened to him?" And she says she doesn't know, right? But then, like 2 minutes later, right, she's like, "Oh, well, they found him." So I don't know if that was like a mistake on like the director's part or whatever, the script, or if that was like a tell or something. Like, it's like, girl, you just said you didn't know what happened to him, and now you're saying they found him. Anywho, I thought that was such a trash thing to do, right? Such a terrible thing to do. Then we get to Zendaya, and this is where the drama begins, right? Because, trigger warning, we're going to be speaking about references to school shootings, okay? So yeah, click off if you're not interested in hearing about this. However, so Zendaya's character, she's very reluctant to say, but then eventually she ends up saying that, she was depressed when she was a teenager. She was 14, 15 years old in high school. She had just moved to whatever town. She was being bullied, and she became depressed. And so, because of that, she had seen that there's all of these school shootings, going around. And so she decided in her mind that, hey, this is what she was going to do. Her dad had a rifle, and, she was making videos all the time of, like, her speaking to the camera, what she was going to do, yada, yada, yada. She ended up actually not going through with it because, I don't know, the day or the day before or whatever, there was a mass shooting at a mall, I believe, and a child from her school was at the mall, and it passed away. She finds this out while she's in school. And this is the catalyst for her not doing it. However, she does shoot the gun at a tree at some point, and I guess because, it was so loud, it ruptured her eardrum, and her eardrum started bleeding, and that is why she's deaf in that ear. Her fiance, Robert Pattinson, did not know that. So of course he's upset about this. He's upset about the entire thing because he didn't know. She never told him. What's worse about this, though, is that the friend starts going off on a tangent about how horrible of a person she is. Her cousin is disabled because of a shooting. She's just Zendaya's character is just this awful, god awful, terrible person. And the only thing I could think of while I was watching this movie is, oh my goodness, what a hypocrite. You literally went through with doing something absolutely horrible, and you have the nerve to be this. I'm not saying if this an excuse, or she, if she did it, it would have been an excuse for whatever. However, she didn't even do it. Right? And this is 15 years ago. And you're acting as if like she's the same person now. She didn't do it then, and she never even went through with doing anything with remotely like that afterwards. As a matter of fact, she start, getting into anti-gun violence and all of these things. But, it doesn't matter because she had that thought. She was being bullied. She was depressed, and she thought about doing it. She almost did it, but she didn't. And so she's a terrible person, even though you literally did something awful to somebody who was mentally challenged. But okay. So now Robert Pattinson's character starts envisioning her holding guns, doing all of these terrible things. He kind of becomes scared of her. Like, he is in this extreme dilemma. And this is the entire drama, right? Is about Zendaya's character and what she almost did when she was 15 years old. This is the drama that we are talking about in this movie, the drama. This is this huge controversy. And in my head, I'm just like, I guess, at first I was like, is this like really This is not a drama. But I'm guessing that's why it's the drama, right? Because I guess I feel like drama is something that is really made out of nothing. Not saying that it was nothing because it was something she was feeling. It's a serious thing that she was going to do. But in essence, right, it's nothing in the sense that nothing even happened. This is 15 years later. She never did anything remotely similar. And it's just like, what? But I'm guessing again, that's why it's a drama. Something is made out of like something very minor and it's just extremely blown out of proportion. Um, like it was just, it's so ridiculous. Like it gets so blown out of proportion. And I'm thinking like, okay, maybe there are people who would agree with these people. Like, oh, like Zendaya's character is a terrible person. She's so much worse than everybody else in this movie. And I've seen people saying that about this movie. I highly disagree. But but again, maybe that's why, because there are people who would feel like that. There are people who would feel like me, right? And also, I feel like the movie focuses on people being hypocrites because it's like you do something, actually do something, and then you're looking at other people and their thing that they did slash did not do. And it's almost like you're trying to make yourself feel better because you did something terrible. Take it off of you, right? Or just being a hypocrite in general. So, again, fast forward, we're at the wedding. The wedding goes absolutely terribly. Because before this wedding, they were going to, well, let me backtrack a little. At some point, Zendaya and Robert, they're walking down the street. They see their DJ. Supposedly, I don't know what she's doing on the corner. She's doing heroin. She's doing weed. I don't know what she's doing on the corner. They think that they see her doing whatever. And then Robert is like, we have to fire her now. And, Zendaya is like, we can't fire her. Why would we fire her for that? And I'm pretty sure this happens before like the wedding tasting and this big blow up. And it's like, why are we firing her? Like, she's not doing it. And in my head, I'm like, sure, not going for any of that. But it's like, you're not doing it on the job, right? Like you could say it was her. You can't be extremely certain that it was her anyways. But fast forward, Zendaya, after it seems like their relationship is about to fall apart. It seems like she's like goes along with Robert Pattinson to fire this girl. But right before they are about to do this, Robert is having once again this extreme breakdown, right, about what Zendaya's character said she did or was going to do. And he almost has an affair at work with his coworker, who, by the way, is also invited to the wedding and also has a boyfriend. We'll get back to that later. But before he almost has this affair with his coworker at work, he meets his best friend and the wife, the friends they were at the tasting with them. He goes to her workplace and they're discussing this entire thing. And the girl, she hasn't spoken to Zendaya because of what happened when what she said. And, Robert Pattinson is defending Zendaya's character. He's like, like you're being a hypocrite, to the girl, you did this to a mentally disabled child. Police were searching for him. She mentions the thing about the shooting and blah, blah, blah. And then he says, oh, I forget what the friend's name is, but let's call him James. He's like, James has been around guns his entire life. He's terrified of them. And he's like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? He's like, kind of like, what are you even talking about? Why would I be like afraid of guns, right? Like, he's like, yeah, you said that, didn't you? And he's like, my uncle owned a ton of guns. And, he really didn't have a problem with it. He's like, what are you even talking about? So I felt like in that sense, there was some kind of racist undertones there. It's like, this girl is really just a terrible person, right? I feel like she jumps to conclusions about people and jumps to assumptions about people, even the very person that she is married to. This one had to do, with race, obviously. And so, at the wedding, Zendaya's character, she feels like people are like speaking and gossiping about her, what she told her friends about the shooting and stuff like that. And it's when she exits the bathroom, she sees Robert Pattinson's coworker, Misha, and she you know, she doesn't do anything, but at some point she goes back and she's like, oh, to Robert, and she's like, can we talk? I want to bring Misha in here because I thought I heard her talking about me. And that is when she kind of finds out that he pretty much cheated on her, depending on how you see it. And so that is a whole nother blow up, because then they come back, he's giving his wedding speech, he's totally just embarrassing Zendaya's character, and then he even mentions the cheating, and then so Misha's boyfriend is like, what? And apparently she lies to him, says that he SA'd her. Then they get into a whole entire fight at the wedding. And then Zendaya runs out. Wedding's done. So yeah. And then by the end of the movie, they pretty much go to this diner separately, but they meet up with each other. And Zendaya does this thing that she did towards the middle of the movie after he had found out about the shooting. And, she wanted to like try to make amends with him. And she starts flirting with him. And that's pretty much where the movie ends. So we can assume that they're still going to be in a relationship. My thoughts. These people should not be together. If you're blowing this so much out of proportion, and I just really feel like he didn't defend her as much as he should have, I feel like they should have just gotten an annulment right there on the spot. Man, we're not even married yet. Something bad, like something stressful happens and you're about to cheat. What would you do? Like, marriage has its ups and downs, I'm assuming. Like, what would you do if something even crazier happened? Like, what would even happen at that point? Like, so when you're stressed because of me, you're gonna go and cheat? Like, that is such a red flag. Absolutely hated the friend. My thing is, how is she even the maid of honor? She had another friend prior to her. At least that's what it seems like. And this girl, it just seems like somebody who it's like the minute something goes wrong, she's not going to be your friend. You know what I mean? I couldn't stand her, but that goes kudos for the character, because the actress, because I think she did a phenomenal job. I just think overall, I said what I had to say about this movie. I actually wish that, to be honest with you, the whole time I was hoping that there would be some sort of twist. I know I like twists, but I feel like it would have been more interesting. Like, had Robert Pattinson's character been so up in arms about Zendaya's character and what she was doing, and then we find out something extremely terrible about him. There was even another point where because he did say he cyberbullied, and then she's telling him that, oh, I was bullied, and then she's telling him instances, and he's like, oh, well, that's it. Like, man, that's enough. Not excusing her for if she were to do that, but it's like, man, that's enough to push somebody over the edge. Stop bullying people. Just stop bullying people. Like, come on. But yeah, I think that is something that maybe would have made the movie better for me. Like, maybe just like, oh, wait, you're also a terror. Like, actually, you did something absolutely horrible. Like, I was expecting something, and I really didn't get anything. Honestly, I saw this movie. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10 right after I watched it. And now I feel like I'm just giving it a 6. I'm giving it a 6. I wanted more. It's not a terrible movie. But again, trigger warning, if you don't want to hear about these things, don't go watch the movie. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's my thoughts on the drama starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, if I hadn't said their names enough during this video, because I couldn't remember the characters' names. But anyways, yeah, guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!